Hello. Today we're going to be talking about the digestive system, specifically its functions and the alimentary canal. Our objectives today, after we complete this lesson, students will be able to identify the structures of the alimentary canal. We'll be able to discuss the functions of the digestive system. We'll also be able to assign those functions to the proper organs, as well as be able to demonstrate an understanding of both the functions of the digestive system and the components of the alimentary canal. First of all, what I want to do is talk about, or not really talk about, but get you thinking about what you already know about the digestive system. Not worrying about what's in the textbook, but more just what do you know? What do you know about digestion? Where have you heard this before? Now, one term you may not have heard is the alimentary canal. What I would like to know is if anyone knows what this is by chance. Okay, the alimentary canal is actually another name for the gastrointestinal tract or the GI tract. It's basically the tube from mouth to anus and all the organs that fall along that tube or form that tube. What I'd like to do is kind of get an idea if you can identify the organs of the digestive system. Do you recognize what they look like? Are you aware of what's the components are? So first here we have the rectum. Yes, that is part of the digestive system. And here we have, the small intestines, part of the digestive system. What about this? That's correct, that is the heart. And the heart is not part of the digestive system. It is part of the cardiovascular system. Next to that, we have the mouth. The mouth is part of the digestive system. It's the opening of the tube. Right next to the mouth, we see, what is that? Yes, a stomach. The stomach is part of the digestive system. Kind of here in the middle is our lungs, correct? That's in the respiratory system. Right over here, it might be a little bit hard to see, but that tube there is the esophagus. It's connecting the mouth to the stomach. Down here, the large intestines, part of the digestive system, including the rectum right there in purple again. What do we have here? That is correct. Those are the kidneys. They're part of the urinary system. Okay, let's think about what the functions are of the digestive system. What does it do for us? Why do we have this? Okay, we have it for ingestion, we have it for digestion, we have it for absorption, and we have it for elimination or defecation. Here's just a quick little video to talk about, kind of introduce the digestive system a little bit to us. I thought it was rather cute. Okay. What we have here is kind of a start, kind of a little idea here of this tube that we call the alimentary canal. Starts again with the mouth, and then through the mouth, the food mass is going to go through the esophagus into our stomach. Stomach is going to grind that food up with the acids, and it's going to be the liquid sent into our small intestines. It's going to travel through the small intestines. That's where we see the absorption, the main absorption of nutrients occurring. From there, whatever is not absorbed, the waste matter that's left, moves on into the large intestine, where we start to absorb more water, and we absorb the water to cause a firm mass or a soft mass, but a mass to form, and that is what we are going to eliminate from the rectum through the anus. Okay, just to kind of talk a little bit more about the functions. Ingestion is the selective intake of food. This is where you're actually eating the food, chewing it up, which starts our digestion. It's the mechanical digestion. We do also see a little bit of chemical digestion there. Digestion occurs not only in the mouth, but will also occur in the stomach. This is that mechanical, the chewing or the mixing of the food mass, and then chemical, where it's breaking down the actual chemicals into our small, usable nutrient form. Absorption is, you just think like maybe a towel kind of absorbing water. This is where our body is going to absorb the nutrients from our small intestines. It is absorbed and goes into the into the capillaries and into our bloodstream. And then finally we have defecation, which is just a fancy word for elimination, pooping, getting rid of the waste. Okay, this is just kind of a little idea here to see, kind of practice if we can remember what makes up the alimentary canal. Again, the alimentary canal is the tube, we're looking at mouth to anus, that the food mass is going to move through. So first we have here the kidneys. No, that is not part of the alimentary canal. It is a part of our urinary system. Here we have the rectum. That is part of the alimentary canal. It's the distal end. Uterus, reproductive system. Here we have the mouth. It is the opening of the digestive system. This is where we intake that food mass. Alveoli, that is part of the lungs, so it is in the respiratory system. Next we have the esophagus. Yes, esophagus is what's going to connect our mouth to our stomach. Basically just a tube, smooth muscle that's going to move this food mass or bolus to the stomach. Trachea, also known as our windpipe, that is part of the respiratory system. Our urinary bladder kind of tells us urinary system. Our large intestines, definitely, that is going to be where we absorb the water from the leftover waste matter. And then we see our stomach. I've been saying that a lot. Our stomach is where we see a lot of chemical digestion of our food. The gastric juices is going to start breaking down that more and more. We also have our mechanical digestion, where we see the mixing and the churning as the muscles contract. Then we have our small intestines. This is where our food mass that has now been liquefied is going to be released in small amounts to a little bit at a time. It travels through the small intestines, and our blood vessels absorb the nutrients that have been released. Finally, we have here the lungs, and the lungs are part of the respiratory system. Here's just a little bit of practicing matching the functions with the explanation. So for ingestion, C, selective intake of food. Digestion comes over here to A, both the mechanical, the physical breaking down into smaller pieces, as well as the chemical digestion where the enzymes are pulling off, kind of breaking apart the items to make them into smaller usable parts. We then have absorption, and that's what we were just talking about, getting those nutrients to a small enough form so we can absorb them, uptake those nutrients into the bloodstream, again in the small intestines. And defecation is that elimination of the waste matter stored in the rectum before it's released through the anus. Now what I would like for the class to do is to break down into groups of two, and then kind of come up with a way, a project basically, some kind of presentation where you can demonstrate your understanding of the organs in the alimentary canal, what they do, as well as the functions of the digestive system as a whole. And once you have that done, we will come together and present those presentations. Thank you.